First time I've seen you guys joining in. So are both of you here, Jessica and Mia?
Yes.
How are you ladies doing?
This is she. This is Jessica. We're fine.
Okay, so what brought you to this platform tonight?
I'm interested in dispatching from home.
Okay, and how'd you hear about this particular one?
From Facebook.
Ah, okay. And what is your understanding of what a dispatcher is, or what do they do, things like that?
Honestly, I'm just trying to get more information.
Okay. Well, this platform, Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners, we train independent freight dispatchers on how to acquire carriers via a dispatcher agreement and a profile sheet. That's the first step. In our modules, if you're on your computer, you can see my screen. Module 1, our carrier acquisition. Let me log in. So the overall process is of being a freight dispatcher from a high level is getting a carrier under an agreement for you to be their dispatcher and provide your service for them to keep them running. That's number one. Number two, to understand how to find loads initially via the load boards, and load boards are an area that brokers and shippers post or advertise their loads as being available for carriers to try to sell those loads to. And number three, after you understand those loads, how to book those loads with the brokers and shippers, the conversations you want to be having with them. And then lastly, once your carrier delivers, then you invoice your carrier for your service of dispatching for them. So some dispatchers, they will either invoice the carriers on a weekly basis or on a per load basis. And then some carriers will also either invoice their carriers from a percentage perspective or from a flat rate. Like you may charge $500 a week, irregardless of how many loads you move for them, you book for them. Or you may charge anywhere between 5 to 10% per load as you book those loads for them. So you follow that part so far?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So now back to the first point, which is the carrier acquisition. You can't be a dispatcher unless you have a carrier with whom you're trying to get a load for, or you're booking a load for. So one of the methods that we use, well, this is carrier acquisition in our module. If you were to enroll in this platform, you will have access to this back office, and you'll see carrier acquisition. We go over in Dispatcher 101 the three equipment types that move the most freight out here now, the three major equipment types. And the reason we do that is because it's an easy entry point for beginner dispatchers, because the loads are so prevalent for these equipment types, it'll be hard not to find loads for them. So the first one is the dry van trailers. Well, let me go back and define what an equipment type. Do you understand what an equipment type is?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the tractor and the trailer that's connected to it makes up the equipment type. So you have every equipment type has its own tractor, but again, the trailer connected to it defines that specific equipment type. So, for example, this is a dry van trailer connected to a tractor, so it is a dry van equipment type, and we focus on the 53-foot dry van. The next equipment type would be the refrigerated trailer equipment types, or what we call reefers. And the difference between the dry van and the refrigerated trailer, On the front of the trailer for the reefer trailers, you have this little unit here. It's called a TCU, temperature control unit. And what that does is it keeps the freight cool to a certain temperature, whatever you're hauling in there, whatever the commodity is, or the freight or the goods that you're hauling in that trailer, according to the requirements of that broker at the time that you book that load. They may say 34 degrees, continuous, 0 degrees, -5, whatever that requirement is, then that setting has to be set on that reefer. And 53 foot reefer is there. And then the third equipment type will be the 48 or 53 foot flatbed trailers. And this is an example of what a flatbed trailer looks like. So those are the three equipment types that we begin training under, because those are the three that are out here on the roads the most, thus the easiest to try to get loads for beginner dispatchers. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So now those are the equipment types that we target. Now that doesn't say that you can't go after other equipment types. Like you may have people that deal with hot shots, sprinter vans, straight trucks, dump trucks, whatever. But if you're going to start off as a beginner dispatcher, I would establish a foundation for your dispatching business surrounded by the three equipment types. And then if you want to scale your business, you can consider other equipment types. So, all right, next will be under, and this is, remember, mind you, this is still under Module 1, carrier acquisition. So you understand the equipment types. Now, what are the methods used to acquire carriers under a dispatcher agreement and profile? Well, you're seeing this word here, dispatcher agreement and profile, and you're probably wondering, well, what is that? What is a dispatcher agreement? What is a profile? So the dispatcher agreement is kind of like the contract or the agreement between you and the carrier, saying, hey, I'm the carrier and I want you to dispatch for me for a certain percentage or flat rate, and that's the agreement. And then the profile is the carrier's way of telling you how he or she wants that done. So let me go to forms and documents and show you an example of what a dispatcher agreement and what a profile looks like. So in our back office tools and resources area, we have different forms and documents. We have all types of like load details, cheat sheet. That'll come later on as you progress. Here's the dispatcher agreement and the profile. So, and I put my dispatch, or I should say I put an old version of my dispatcher agreement up here as a kind of a template for you guys to kind of follow along. Let me do a quick roll call here. Okay, I got Jessica and me, and then Mike is here, Chandria, Miss Rose, hello, Ruth is here, Mr. Nelson, and then Cynthia Hicks. I believe she's a guest. That's the first time I've seen that name.
Yes.
So hello to you all.
Hi.
Okay, so back to the dispatcher agreement. So again, the dispatcher agreement is what you and the carrier come to an understanding of. And this is just a template. Now, I got my logo here as an example for you guys to follow. You can tweak your agreement to your specific dispatching business. I got my logo. If you don't have a logo for your business at the moment, then you don't put a logo there. Of course, you put your name, the dispatcher name, your phone number, your email, and if you have a website, you may not have a website for your business yet starting out, so you don't put it there. And then here is the verbiage of the dispatcher agreement. Now, I can go through this, and then if you guys have any questions, we can answer the questions in the dispatch agreement. And it's not long. It's just 2 pages, and it could be shorter, but it gets straight to the point. It's basically the understanding between you and the carrier. Hey, I'm a dispatcher. This is the service I provide. This is the charge that I charge for that service. Or I should say, this is the fee that I charge for that service. So when the carrier gets this, they are going to fill this out and return it to you. Now with me, I have on my website a dispatcher agreement and profile online form where if you click the dispatcher agreement here, and I'm going to go through the dispatch agreement line by line to give you an understanding of what that is. But if at some point you get a website and you want to put your dispatcher agreement on your website in the format where they can just go and click, fill it out, hit submit, and it sends you an email alert, you have that option of doing that as well, as opposed to sending something in a paper form, a PDF attached to an email, and they have to fill it out. You know, at some point you'll progress in your business setup and put it on your website. But this is what mine looks like. They'll fill in the carrier information. So somebody give me an example of a trucking company name. We could just come up with one. ABC Trucking or whatever. The carrier will put that there. They'll put their MC, DOT number, truck and trailer number, and they'll fill this out online. They'll check the box giving you as the dispatcher consent to fill out their carrier packets and their rate confirmations for you. If anyone has a question about what those are, we can go over those as well. And then they have an option to upload files that you as a dispatcher is going to need going forward to help service them. And then they'll sign it, which if you see me sign it, I'm scribbling into the signature area because I can easily clear it. But they'll sign it here as a carrier and then hit submit. Once they hit submit, it's going to send an email alert to you, the dispatcher. The files that's needed, and it says it right here, please upload W-9, MC authority letter, and certificate of insurance. These are the three common forms that most brokers and shippers are required to get those carriers set up and approved to move loads, book loads with. Okay? Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Hello, Brandy. I see Brandy's in here too.
Hello.
All right. So now back to the dispatcher agreement, which is the main two forms to get started with you and your carrier is the dispatch agreement and the profile. So the dispatch agreement here, this is what your carrier is going to receive, whether he or she receives it in an online form or on a PDF, you know, in an attached email. They're gonna fill it out however they fill it out, DocuSign, PDF filler, online form, paper form. They're gonna fill this information out. So ABC Trucking Company or whatever, and that's the carrier, owner operator of truck number, let's say 1, trailer number 2, MC number, DOT number, MC number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, DOT number, anything that's 7 digits. So does anyone need to have an explanation given to them of what an MC and or DOT number is? No? Okay. So everyone understands what the purpose of the MC and the DOT number is. So when the carrier is filling this out, he or she is putting their information in, and it says hereby grants authorization, permission to, your name will go in this highlighted area. I just put my name just as a template for you guys to follow, especially for you guys who are enrolled into this Dispatcher 101 training and has access to the back office. The purpose of this platform is for you guys to use the resources to help establish your businesses from a beginner's level dispatching perspective. Okay. Hereby grants authorization, permission to, let's say, Dispatcher X to act as my agent for the sole purpose of searching for and booking loads. That's what a dispatcher does. Processing all brokerage paperwork. That's what a dispatcher does. The brokerage paperwork is the carrier packet and the rate confirmation. That's what that is. Okay? Let me see, I got some background noise here a little bit. Give me 1 second. All right. So processing all brokerage paperwork and obtaining and submitting all necessary documents in order to expedite loads and dispatch via phone, fax, or email for my truck, license plate number, whatever that is, in the state of wherever they are based. Does everyone follow that first paragraph in the dispatcher agreement?
Yeah.
Okay. This second paragraph, all billing, invoicing, collections of revenue from customers, which are the shippers, brokers, shippers, consignees. Some of these names are synonymous and mean the same thing, because the customer and the shipper could be the same thing. Brokers, consignees, etc., are the sole responsibility of the carrier. Unless you offer that as a service, an added service to your dispatching business, it is the sole responsibility of the carrier to collect the revenues that is due to them, their money. And they'll either do that through getting it directly from the broker or through what's called a factoring company. Most carriers have what's called a factoring company, where they sell the invoices or the BOLs to the factoring companies for a percentage, and then the factoring companies will give them the money and then go after the brokers for the difference. So everybody understand that yellow sentence there, that yellow bold underlined sentence? The carrier, is the responsibility of the carriers to get all billing, invoicing, and collections of revenue. Invoicing means not invoicing from the dispatcher's perspective, not us as dispatchers invoicing our carriers to pay us. Invoicing meaning the carriers are invoicing the brokers to pay them for after they deliver what they were supposed to deliver. That's what that means. So I don't want you to get confused by the invoicing statement there, because we also invoice the carriers once they are done doing their job. Once they deliver that load to the receiver, then they are going to invoice to get paid, and then we invoice them to get paid. That's the process. If revenue for a shipment or shipments is uncollectible, the dispatcher name here, whoever it is, will be held harmless, and no penalty or deduction of fees will be made. And that should be obvious, because the dispatcher has nothing to do with why the carrier will not receive any revenue from the broker or shipper. That has nothing to do with the dispatcher. But it's good that this sentence is documented in the dispatcher agreement, so there's a clear understanding of that. Even though it's an obvious statement, it should still be documented to be clear. You know, in other words, if the carrier is not getting paid from the broker or the shipper, it's not the dispatcher's fault. So they should be harmless, and no penalty should be made against the dispatcher. The carrier has to go after the broker or shipper either directly or through their factory company. And there's a type of service in the factory company called, I think it's recourse or non-recourse factory. So that offers the service that goes after brokers who do not pay carriers. Okay? The carrier agrees to maintain all proper licenses and permits to conduct business as a motor carrier in the area of intended operation. Basically, this sentence here is basically saying that they have a W-9, a certificate of insurance updated, and a updated or active MC authority letter. That's basically what this sentence is saying, or this paragraph. Any questions so far? And then right here, this sentence, dispatcher, your name will go here, will be held harmless in the event of any and all claims. What that means is, if there are claims filed against the carrier, your carrier with whom you have a dispatcher agreement with, if there are any claims filed against them for a late delivery, damaged freight, accidents and things like that, that has nothing, you had no control over that. So why would you be involved as a claimant in that situation? But again, it needs to be documented, or it's a good idea to have it documented. And then right here, I put it in a little bit larger text. The fee for carrier dispatching services, in this example, I just put 10%, including dedicated lanes. Now, the range, if you're going to go the percentage route as opposed to the flat rate, the range is between 5 and 10%. 7 is a fair number. 8 is okay. 10 is, I've seen people do 12 in some cases, but I always say 5 to 10. So, and again, this dispatch agreement is only 2 pages. See how small this is? So, and then right here, as loads are picked up, delivered, and carrier is paid first. So the carrier has to get paid first prior to us invoicing them. Now I've had carriers who actually, once I booked a load, they actually asked me to send them an invoice for that load. So they paid me while they were under the load. But in most cases, that's going to be rare. You're rarely going to get a carrier who wants to pay you prior to getting paid for moving a load. That was just a relationship thing that the carrier and I had that he knew that, once I book loads, it's pretty much a done deal. You're going to get your money. So as loads are picked up, delivered, and carriers paid first, an amount equal to the above stated percentage or pricing scheme meaning if there was a flat rate, percentage of course is right here, will be payable to, and then you just put your information here, how you want to get paid. Okay, Rose asked a question here. Let me let's see. So, hi Charles, what you feel is a reasonable price for a flat rate? That's a good question. It depends. That's a hard question to answer because you got to factor in the equipment types and the types of loads for those equipment types. So dry vans pay less than flatbeds, which pay less than reefers, or vice versa. I think reefers and flatbeds pay obviously more than dry vans. So to come up with a flat rate number, and it also depends on how many loads are you going to book for that specific carrier of that specific equipment type in a week. So let's say, for example, all 3 equipment types, dry van, flatbeds, and reefers, you are booking 3 loads a week, right? And let's say that, let's say $500, it might be a good flat rate number. So if you book 3 loads a week for each one, and on average, each load is paying $2,000. So that's $6,000 a week for the carrier, and he's giving you $500. Imagine if you charge 10% as opposed to the flat rate. 10% of $6,000 is $600. That's an extra $100. So it depends. Or if you charge a flat rate like $500, but you're booking like 4 and 5 loads a week, you could be losing money. So you have to. That's why I said it's a hard question to answer, because there are so many factors that you got to put into play. So if you want to consider, I'll say this: if you want to consider going the flat rate route, then I would put in my dispatch agreement that I'm charging a flat rate contingent upon X amount of loads per week. So I'll charge a flat rate of $500 per week for 3 loads. Irregardless of what the loads pay, I'm charging $500 a week for 3 loads. If it goes over to 4 loads a week, if I get you 4 loads a week, then that's an extra charge on top of that. So, those are some of the things that you will probably have to put into consideration, because you could come across some good loads. You might come across a $3,000 load, a $5,000 load, a $4,000 load. So that's what, 3, 5, and 4. That's $12,000. So if you would have charged 10%, that's $1,200. But you charge $500 for the week, no matter what. So you have to consider, again, it gets into the equipment types and the type of loads and where it's going and things like that. So, all right. So back to this, as the loads are picked up, delivered, carriers paid first, the amount equal to the above stated percentage or pricing scheme will be payable to you, the dispatcher, that's your name there. And I use in this template as an example PayPal. I invoice my carriers with PayPal, and that's my PayPal email. Some people use Square. Others have Invoice Home. Others use, QuickBooks Pro has a built-in invoicing feature in their software. There's a ton of invoicing software that you can use. What I would recommend, if you choose one and you stick with it, to do your research on all of them and see which one offers the best for your company. Create a list of what you expect in an invoicing software, and then choose the software that provides or meets the requirements from your list. Right now, PayPal is doing okay for me, and sometimes Square. I don't have QuickBooks Pro. I've used it before, but I don't have it now. I've added to this template here, this little clause here is almost like a power of attorney, because I've been hearing people say, well, you need a power of attorney to get the permission from the carrier for you to fill out their carrier package for them and sign their rate confirmations with their name for them. So what I did, I spoke to my attorney, and he said, just put this in here, and if they'll initial it, that's pretty much a power of attorney. So carrier, right here, this sentence right here, or paragraph, carrier also authorizes dispatcher to complete carrier setup packets for any and all brokerages on carrier's behalf, as well as any and all rate confirmations or rate cons on carrier's behalf. So by the carrier initialing that right there, they are telling you that for every broker that you talk to and they send you a carrier setup package, or what's called a broker carrier agreement, and you fill that out, you don't sign your name as the dispatcher, because it's not a broker dispatcher agreement, it's a broker carrier agreement. You're putting the carrier's information in. And that's another reason why it's important to have the carrier's W-9, certificate of insurance, and MC authority letter in your possession, a copy of it at least, and you have a filing system for each carrier that you have, keeping their information organized for yourself. So it just makes it a little bit more streamlined. And then carrier setup package on their behalf, as well as the rate confirmations. When you book a load, the load is official once the rate confirmation is sent back to the broker and signed. So you got carrier packets. The two important documents in booking a load, of course, is the carrier setup packet and the rate confirmations. The carrier setup packet gets the carrier set up with that brokerage and approved based off of the W-9, certificate of insurance, and the MC authority letter. Once that happens, the broker is going to send you a rate confirmation for that specific load for which you called them initially to begin with. And then you look that over, make sure the numbers match what was posted on the load board when you saw that load prior to calling that broker, and what you see on the rate confirmation. If everything is on the up and up and is in agreement, you and your carrier say, yeah, we're good, go ahead and send it. Then you sign that for your carrier and send it in quicker. So, any questions so far? No questions? You're welcome, Ms. Rose. Okay, so this is it for the and the rest is self-explanatory on this dispatch agreement. They're just filling in their phone number and their email address right here, and then either party can end this within 7 business days with a written request. And they sign their company name, signature, date, print, and then down at the bottom you have your, I just put this in as a template. So that's the dispatcher agreement. The profile, when your carrier, I call it a carrier preference form, it's a profile form, whatever name you want to give it, because it's for your business. Again, my logo, you can have your logo. The carrier is going to put their information, their home state, their business name, ABC Trucking, any 123 Main Street, anywhere USA, 12345. They'll fill that out. And then a host of questions. Now, I just put this in as a template. You can have more questions designed for your specific business and add it to or take away from the profile. The same thing with the dispatch agreement. You can tweak the dispatch agreement how you see fit for your business. This is just an example for you guys to follow to get you started. Okay? So, do you travel in the mountains? Yes or no? Some carriers don't go in the mountains because there's a lot of wear and tear on the vehicle. They burn a lot of fuel with the incline and decline. Equipment type, what type of trailer? Flatbed, reefer, dry van, and whether it's 48 or 53 foot. Do you do long haul? Well, most carriers do long haul. And if so, what states? Do you do short hauls? But you're going to get those. Do you do heavy loads, like oversized or over-dimensional, over-width? You know, if you want to focus on that. If you're just starting out, you may want to take this one out and just focus on just main general freight. What is the maximum load capacity of your trailer? So again, depending on the equipment type, flatbeds are like 46, 48,000. The reefers and dry vans are about 45,000 pounds. What days you want off? And then this one here, how much money do you need to move your truck? Or what is your CPM? CPM stands for cents per mile. And that goes back again to the equipment type. There's an average or across the board average for each equipment type for the cents per mile. For flatbeds, it may be a certain amount that's different in the reefers, and that's different in the dry vans. $2 a mile, $3 a mile, $2.50 a mile, for example. So, and then any other comments. And then they send this in along with the dispatcher agreement. And if you send this in an email form, I would also put in the email to have them send those other documents. So I would compose an email if you're just getting started with your business, right? And you don't have a website, and you sending out the dispatch agreement, and the only way that you're sending it is in PDF form for them to fill out and send back to you. So this is an example of how I would do it. You would send it out. Someone requested a site membership. Who was it? Hopefully it was a member. Someone who just recently joined. Okay, yeah, Michael Watson. I got to approve him because he just recently enrolled. So welcome, Michael. But I would compose the email and let's say I'm gonna send it to my other email, just to show you guys. Okay, not that one. That's a company email for IKEA and stuff. So here's an email that you would compose: dispatcher agreement and profile. And then in the body of the email, I've created a kind of a template for that as well. If you're just starting out, dispatcher agreement and the email body right there. So what this is, it's going to open up hopefully. Right here. So I got this body for the body of the email with the logo and everything. I'm going to paste it in here. And it just talks about who you are again, general information, your rate. And then at the bottom here, the point I want to make here is when you send this email, please reply to the email because you're sending this email with the dispatcher agreement and the profile attached. The PDFs are attached so they can print it out and fill it out and send it back. But in the body of the email, you're also asking for them to send back in red, bold letters, MC authority letter, certificate of insurance, and W-9. And then you got all your detailed information. So what I'm going to do is copy this and put that in the body of the email right there. And then I'm going to send that out. And then I forgot, I got to attach the... And this is what you literally do. If you're just starting out, this is what you would literally do. Dispatcher agreements, I want to send the PDF of the profile and the PDF of the dispatcher agreement. Okay? So that's the very steps of sending out a dispatcher agreement and a profile to the carrier. If you're just starting off as a dispatcher and you don't have a website for an online form or anything like that, you're just like really raw, just getting started, grassroots, and I'm going to go ahead and send. And it's sending, and it's sent. All right, so there we go. Any questions about that so far? And remember, this is all under carrier acquisition section, the module 1. And we were in the area of equipment types, and we were about to talk about the methods of acquiring carriers under a dispatcher agreement and profile, but we had to first cover what exactly is a dispatcher agreement and what is a profile. So that's what those are. So now back to the methods of acquiring carriers or trying to get carriers to say, yeah, I want you to be my dispatcher. The number one method, in my opinion, is if you have a truck stop in your local area within, let's say, 20-mile radius, and you could physically go there and talk to carriers and present your flyers, your business cards, or just present yourself and just speak to them. When I first started out and I went to truck stops, I didn't go to truck stops initially to try to get them under a dispatch agreement. I was mainly looking for information. So I would ask them questions in such a way to say, hey, man, if you were looking for a dispatcher, what are some of the qualities you would look for in a dispatcher? And then whatever answers I received, I took that information and kind of, fed into that information and built from that. But nowadays, we can just go directly and ask them the questions and solicit our service to them. Because some carriers, especially the newer carriers who are just getting their MC authorities active, are going to need assistance, helping, because they're focusing on driving. They probably need a dispatcher who's in the background scenes, finding their next load and keeping them running. And that's the whole point of having a dispatcher. So that's the number one way, going to the truck stops and talking to the carriers directly, making eye contact. They see you verbatim, eye contact. They see how sincere you are in your speech, in your presentation, things like that. If you're going to pass out cards and flyers, I have this underlying section here. Please be sure to get permission from the management. I had an experience where I actually, it was kind of disrespectful to them, where I was just going in there just without asking. I just started hanging up flyers and passing things out. And, if I was a manager, I would have felt the same way. So I kind of understood, So they didn't really get belligerent with me. They just, walked up to me and said, next time, just let us know. We don't mind. Just let us know. So, okay. Any questions about that? Any other questions? Okay. The second way, some people may not have experience with this, but it's cold calling, where you actually call someone that you don't know for the very first time, and you are trying to win them over by offering your service to them in such a way that they'll say, yeah, go ahead and send me your dispatch agreement and profile. Here's my email address. I look forward to working with you. So what do you think the type of conversation should be that would have that type of result, where a carrier will say to you something like that? Yeah, go ahead and send it to me. What do you think you should say? How do you present yourself? What line of statements and things that you should make will convince them to say, yeah, send that to me? And that's all in the cold calling portion of it. Now, one of the tools, we have several tools that we use, or softwares that we use, but one of them is there's a load board called Trucker's Path or Truckloads, and there's a truck search feature. Here's a screenshot of it, of Trucker's Path, In addition to Truckers Path, we use the company snapshot safer website, where we take the information from the load board, the truck search feature, the MC number or the DOT number, and put it into the company snapshot of that particular company and get more information to determine if this is a good carrier to even consider calling. So, for example, Truckers Path and Safer. And let me get out of this for a second. And Truckers Path is in our, if you are enrolled into this platform, you will have access to Truckers Path. And then the Safer website is that's a free website. You can just, anyone can have access to that. So when you first log into Truckers Path, for those of you who've never seen this before, or up at the top you got loads, truck search, and GPS tracking. Of course, we select loads, and then you get to this window here. It's thinking right now. It's going to show how many carriers are currently logged in at this time for all equipment types, for any equipment. So there's 217 carriers right now. So all states, I usually leave all states selected because I don't want to select a specific state. I want to keep it at all states because I increase my chances of finding good carriers. Equipment type, what are the three equipment? I'm going to check any to unselect everything. What are the three equipment types that we start off with that we talked about earlier in this training? What were the three major equipment types? Anyone?
Reefer, drive-in, and I believe it was flatbed.
Flatbed.
Right, flatbed, van, and reefer. Okay, so those are the three that we're starting off. And then under safety rating, I'm going to uncheck conditional and leave conditional and unsatisfactory unchecked and only keep satisfactory selected. Why? Because if I go to a broker, brokers are going to always ask for the MC or DOT of the carrier. They do that for a reason because they want to get them set up under their brokerage. Once they run that DOT or MC and they see that that carrier has an unsatisfactory or a conditional safety rating, the likelihood of them getting that load or getting set up with that broker decreases because of that reason. The broker's not going to want to have a carrier who's safe. Now look, what's the key word there? Safety, right? So the broker's not going to want to have a carrier whose safety rating is conditional or unsatisfactory because there's something in that conditional or unsatisfactory rating that drew a red flag from the FMCSA and DOT for them to give that carrier that label as a unsatisfactory or conditional rating. So I leave satisfactory only, and then I hit search. Right, so 217 is going to become smaller because I've kind of filtered my search criteria to a specific selections. Right, so 217 is going to change. And it went to 123. Right, so let's open up one real quick. I'm going to open up this one because this person posted a minute ago. This is the name of their company. This is how you read it. You read it across horizontally, right? They posted a minute ago. This is the name of the company, their equipment type. All of the ratings are going to be satisfactory because we only selected satisfactory as a safety rating, right? Person's name, so this name and that name is the same. So this might be an owner-operator of their own company. So I'm going to expand him. Now you notice under the safety rating, there are 5 subcategories for the safety rating. So, and each of them are green, which means I'm going to click one. So, which means acceptable. So his authority is acceptable, which means it's current, it's active. He's operating acceptably. He has an acceptable safety, insurance, and other. So now if you had something, let's select the other 3, for example, and let's do it again so I can show you. I think conditional will be yellow and unsatisfactory is going to be red when you select and find So that's why I wouldn't even waste if you are to use, or if you're going to use the truck search feature of Trucker's Path, I wouldn't even recommend selecting conditional or unsatisfactory. I would just select satisfactory. Don't even waste your time. I'm just showing you this, what it looks like. So under conditional, it's going to be yellow, right? You see it? So all greens except the yellow one. So if you check it, so it's moderate. So there's something going on in here that caused a conditional rating there, right? And then as unsatisfactory, so you got one that's unsatisfactory. Let's check that. Look at that. All of them are red. You see? So the question becomes, why is this person even on here listed if he has an unsatisfactory? Everything on here is unacceptable. His authority is unacceptable, his operation, safety, insurance, and everything. So that is a complete waste of time. So as a dispatcher, if you are to use the truck search feature of Trucker's Path, I would highly recommend just selecting satisfactory as a safety rating, so you won't waste your time. Is there any questions about that?
No.
Okay. So now it's going to go back to the numbers that we had before. So now here. So now once I'm going to expand it, and then what I usually do next, I usually copy the DOT or MC number, and then I go to our FMCSA company snapshot because I want to get information about that person to determine if I'm going to call them. So it's a DOT number. The company snapshot lists DOT, MC, or company name. So I'm going to list DOT because that was the number, and then do a search. Okay. Now, the way that you read this is the result of that DOT search. The entity type of this result is this person is a carrier only, which is good. If it said carrier/broker or carrier/IEP, which is intermodal equipment provider, I wouldn't consider them because now you're getting into double brokering. Their operating status, if they have an MC authority, they're an operating authority of property. There are different MC categories, MC authority categories for carriers. There's a common carrier authority, a contracted carrier authority, passenger carrier authority, and what's called an HHG, household goods. The ones that we focus on, of course, as dispatchers, independent freight dispatchers, are going to be the common carriers, okay, generally. And this person has one power unit or one tractor and one trailer. So they drove 1 mile in 2019. Can you imagine that? Wow. So they just got their authority right there. So may consider calling him. He's in California. He has a California number. So you guys want to see how this conversation goes when you call cold call a carrier? Call him up, and your script or your conversation with the person could be different than my conversation. So he has a flatbed, right? He's in Phoenix right now. It looks like he's trying to get back to California, and these are the states that he ran.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a...
And there's his phone number and his email address. So he's either going to call me back during this training. I should have left a voicemail, but he's going to call me back during the training probably, or not. But if he was to pick up, I would have asked him, was he under a load, looking for a load for his flatbed, got his cents per mile, see how he wanted to run, how much weight he wanted to haul. There are certain questions you ask the carrier based off of their equipment types. Like he has a flatbed, so you would ask if it was a 48 or a 53-foot flatbed, because what if he said, I got a 40-foot flatbed or a 30-foot flatbed? What are those commonly referred as?
Box truck.
The box trucks are 26 foot, 24 to 26 foot box trucks, but the flatbeds, there's a term they call hot shots. Hot shots are up to 40 feet. They have ramps on them. So if you are on Truckers Path and you're calling carriers and you're calling them that the truck is a flatbed truck category, you want to make sure that you specify or ask them, do you have a 48 or a 53 foot flatbed? If they say no, I got a hot shot, then now you're at a crossroads, because now you got to ask yourself, well, am I willing to? Because when he answered the question, the person seemed like the conversation was going to start off cordial and look like it was going to go your way. When they said a hot shot and you are a new dispatcher, do you want to? Now you got to weigh, do I want to take a chance getting the dispatcher agreement, but then I got to try to find loads for a hot shot, which is kind of harder. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just more difficult to find loads for hot shots than it would be for standard flatbeds, dry gas, and reefers. Okay? So that's just a little caveat right there. If you are on Truckers Path and you're doing the truck search feature and you come across the flatbed category, make sure that you ask them, is their flatbed 48 or 53 foot? They're going to say, yeah, I got a 48, or I got a 53 foot step deck, or I got a 48 foot low boy. So, which is cool. You still can find loads for them, but as long as it's 48 and 53 foot, you're good. Okay? Any questions? Now, I had a carrier, one of my carriers I used to dispatch for. His name is Smooth. He's a reefer guy. He called me today, and he said, do you have a dispatching student in there who can keep me running? So what I may do now is call him and see, you guys listen to him and see what he wants, and if anyone can keep him running. If anyone feels that they, let's see, who's in this group that is enrolled. I'm looking at the people who are here. Who's ever enrolled, let's see, Mr. Nelson, Miss Rose, Brandy, Robert, okay. And we'll see. So let's try one more here, because this is, carrier acquisition is the first hurdle to get over as a dispatcher. You have to, of course, you got to get a carrier to say, yeah, I want you to be my dispatcher. Let's work together. Let's get these loads booked and make this money, right? So let's go to another one here. Let's see what Mr. Trimble. We'll see what's going on with him. And I'm just going through randomly. I'm not really selecting a specific one. He's a DOT, because I just want you guys to know, some of those. How would you conversate, and what would be the script? How would you talk to carrier? Calling him up. Okay, put him on speaker. Mike said nobody's gonna dispatch for Smooth. Yeah, Smooth is tough.
I'm sorry.
Oh, another strike two. And if you do happen to get a carrier on the phone at this point in time, I would, like, if I'm starting to thank them too, because they're still out here on the roads while we got this this COVID thing going on, this coronavirus thing. So they are what's considered essentials, and not a lot of carriers are being thanked for their service, and they're out here on the roads taking a chance with their lives with this stuff going around, So the trucking, this is a telltale sign that truckers are very important in this country because of what's going on. Goods still need to get to their destinations, right? And who else other than truckers are going to be able to do that? So let's see. I'm pick another one here. Just randomly, I want to get one before I call Smooth, so you guys can hear me talking to someone who I've never spoken to before, like Randall, to kind of give you guys an example of how that's done. And I'm not saying I'm the best. I just want to give you a template to follow. you know, as an example. So he has 4. Let's see, someone commented, let me see, make sure here. How much is Smooth paying? Smooth, I charge, well, it's not how much he's paying, it's what are you charging him for the service. I charge Smooth 7%. So that'll be a conversation that whoever decides to run for Smooth would have. Matter of fact, let's get the mystery out the air. Let's call him. Right? So, because I spoke to him earlier today, and he's having a hard time getting out of. I put this in the Facebook chat earlier. He's having a hard time getting out of Pennsylvania, but Robert just put a load up going to New York.
What's up, man?
What's up, Smooth? I'm in class. I figure I'll call you back and finish our conversation we had earlier, trying to see if we can get you a dispatch and keep you rolling.
Oh, shit, I done linked up with old girl.
Who, Wanda?
Yeah.
I'm going to call her.
Yeah, I gotta check her on the schedule because she's busy doing a lot of things. So if I can get fit in, if she can take me on, that'd be cool. If not, I'll find one.
Right. So Wanda, Wanda, she's we're doing this currency exchange stuff too, the Forex. So.
Oh, I'm gonna do research on that.
Yeah. So okay, so you got LaWanda. I'm gonna reach out to LaWanda and see what's going on.
Yeah. That's about it. Is you in class right now?
Yeah. I can barely hear you. You got muffled a little bit.
So you in class right now?
Yeah, it's cool. When you said you was having a hard time getting out of New York, Robert, one of the dispatchers here, he had posted a load from Baltimore. I guess it's 100-mile deadhead, but from Baltimore to New York, it was paying $1,100 going 255 miles. That was $3. That was $3 a mile with the deadhead, and then 4 and some change if you were already in Baltimore. So.
Oh, word. Where that load already got took?
I don't know. He was asking me, were you already, and I need to ask you this, were you already set up with Chop Tank? I think you are.
I'm already in with Chop Tank.
Yeah.
They load boards. I'm waiting for them to give me their load boards.
Okay, their internal stuff. Okay.
Yeah, so I can get first dibs. I ain't got to wait on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think Robert may be on here. Let me see. Hey, Robert, was that a Chop Tank load that you posted from Baltimore to New York?
No, I don't think so. I have to take a look. I'm in the truck wash right now. Give me about 5-10 minutes. I'll get back with you, all right?
Okay, no problem. Because you had asked me earlier, was he set up with Chop Tank? I thought that was for that load. That was just for something else?
That was the backhaul.
Oh, the backhaul. Okay. All right, Robert, thanks. So Robert was thinking about the line haul as well as the backhaul, Smooth. He was already on it.
Yeah. That's definitely a good sign right there.
Yeah. So, and that's the qualities that most carriers look for in a dispatcher. Well, number one, don't send me to a dead state. I don't care how much it's paying because I ain't gonna be able to get out. I'm gonna have to sit there for a few days, lose money. Like Florida. Like Florida. So as a dispatcher, we need to familiarize ourselves with, okay, what are the areas we send them to that we can get backhaul back out of, right?
I had a dude that I was ready to start dealing with, and he was like, yeah, man, they got this load going down to Florida. And right then and there, that was a telltale sign. I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, click. Now but see, okay, I don't want to talk about Florida too bad. Now, unless I got a shipper or a broker I know that can get me out, that's guaranteed, I won't send nobody there.
That's like few and in between.
Right. Like I know a produce guy in Virginia that goes down to Florida and back up. The only problem is his rates are not good. So he can get you down there because he has a distribution center down in Florida, and he has his warehouse, his main hub in Virginia, Northern Virginia. So he has a pipeline back and forth, but his rates are not good. That's the only problem.
Yeah, I'm not. I'd rather be chilling at the crib like I am now before I deal with some garbage ass rates.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? Because it'll be by the time I pay tolls, I mean, by the time I pay tolls and my fuel, like I'll be looking at little to nothing. So I'm primarily pulling the load for you. I might as well pay you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, so now it don't work like that.
Right, right.
It don't work like that at all. So.
Right.
Once I get that Bronx right now is like on fire.
Right. See, because right, it's like it's paying going into New York because number one because of the situation now, and then of course New York going into New York was always it's been decent, but it's even better now. So.
Yeah, it's been fair. Like a lot of guys, a lot of them broker man, they like no matter how cool you think they are with you, man, all of them, and I do mean I'm gonna say 99.99% of them are douchebags. Yeah.
Oh yeah. If I haven't, I don't think I said it to you earlier, but if I haven't said it to you on behalf of me and my platform, Dispatcher 101, I do like to thank you because you're out here on the roads going through this COVID-19 stuff. You're taking a risk, which is, still getting stuff to the stores and the customers. So I want to thank you for your service coming from me and my.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
I wish the brokers appreciated too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't thank me, pay me, right?
Not just directing that to you, but to
right.
them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no, like they gotta come up on that money, bro. They gotta come up on the money, or I'm not. I'm only one guy with one truck, and there's plenty of guys with 5, 6, 7 trucks.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's mine.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was trying to get. I forgot the woman's name, but they got a joint down at Chop Tank paying 21, picking up from South Carolina up to the Bronx, and that's well worth it.
I knew a broker down in South Carolina. I gotta go look through my broker list. I think I know exactly who you're talking about. She's either out of like Lumberton or Rock Hill or something like that.
I had that it's probably about 52 miles away from Lumberton. I got that Amazon account in Lumberton.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's not guaranteed. Like they be playing a lot of games with them loads. One day I sat down there for a day and a half trying to get loaded because the coronavirus had backed up. But it ain't. I'm like one of the top guys in the top 3. I always make the top 3. Anyway, I'm one of the top guys in the top 3, so I get the loads after their trucks get their loads. So it's either hit or miss with that.
Yeah, Mike said he said tell Smooth that Hunts Point be paying cash to carriers to run loads. What's Point, Mike? What is Hunts Point? Is that like a
Hunts Point is a delivery place. I deliver it out there. It's right off of 95, right?
Okay. So he's saying
it's right off of 95. You gotta pay to get in there. I believe like $20 or $25 cash that you gotta pay to get onto their property.
Okay.
What you talking about?
That could be. It could be. Yeah. So they pay cash to get in to run loads. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that one up. Get with Mike on that one.
Yeah, that's your might be.
Hey, Chief, you want this information real quick?
If they not paying, well, like what are they paying?
Hey, Charles, Hunts Point is the market.
Yeah. So Mike said correct. Let's see. Mr. Nelson had a comment. What do you say, Mr. Nelson?
Yeah, Hunts Point is the market.
Okay, Hunts Point is the market. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one you got all the drivers gotta pay to get in there. They got like a guard booth and before you even get on the property.
Okay.
I think I know the one that's right off of 95.
Right off of 95. Okay. All right, Mr. Nelson. And then Robert said he got some information. Robert, come on in, Robert.
All right, one second.
Okay, Robert. I think Robert has some information for you too. I'm gonna write it down too, in case I don't get it. In case you can't hear it, I'll text it to you.
All right, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. So yeah, he's looking it up. Yeah, Robert does. He runs tankers.
He moves tankers.
Yeah, he moves tankers. Yes.
Aura.
Yeah.
Terrell. Perrell. 2 L's, yes.
You said that first initial was R?
R. All right, hold on a second. Let me, hold on.
Okay.
All right, here we go. You ready to write something down?
Yeah, I'm ready to write it down. Okay, what you got, Robert?
Integrity Express Logistics.
Integrity Express Logistics.
Yes.
I was just trying to get in contact with those guys today. I was on the board on that.
Okay.
One of the blue boards. I've seen Integrity. I believe those are the same guys.
Okay. So I'm gonna look them up. Okay, Robert.
You got it. You want the DOT number, MC number?
Yeah, give me an MC number.
596655.
Okay, I'm gonna look them up, Robert. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pull them up. I got the load board. I got truck of loads open right now.
Okay. And I'm gonna look them up for safer. So I'm gonna hit you back, Smooth.
He say, hold on, Integrity Express Logistics.
Yeah.
Their dot number is one. I ain't got my glasses on. It's like 1911857.
Hey, Robert, what's the DOT number? You gave me the MC number. What's the DOT?
No, I got the MC in front of me too. What's your MC?
Oh, okay. Never mind, Robert. The MC is 596655.
655. Yeah, same guys.
Okay, we good, Robert. Okay.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff going up in. They got one picking up in Glassboro, New Jersey, going to Wintersville, Ohio. 40,000 pounds. It doesn't have a price down here, but it's about 371 miles.
Okay, so I would say no less than, let's say, 1,200, depending on how many stops. That's a reefer load.
That's a refrigerated load. It's a full load too.
Is it a 1-in-1?
Hold on, let me pull it up. Comments, contact. It just say contact broker.
Oh yeah, they want you to.
I don't have the paid version, so.
They're gonna try to sell it to you probably.
Yeah, probably 9 times out of 10. It picked up today as well.
Well, if it's a 1-in-1, no less than 1,200. If it's more, I would work up to towards 15, 16.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But
yeah.
they try to rip you off.
Yeah.
They got a little slew of stuff up here. Let me see if this is the same guys.
Okay, I'll hit you back, Smooth.
All right, man. Take care.
All right.
All right, bye.
All right, Robert, I appreciate that. Networking. Any questions? Miss Allison, I'm glad you just tuned in. Can you come on line, Miss Allison, please? Unmute yourself. And then Miss Brandy asked for dedicated lanes. Will we go over dedicated lanes? Yes, we can go over dedicated lanes. Yeah. So any questions before? I want to get Miss Allison on real quick. But is there any questions? I see Jessica and Mia. I keep missing. So I'm gonna pronounce it. It's spelled differently. It's pronounced like M-I-A. Mia.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna pronounce it Mia, even though it's spelled M-E-I. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. How are you two so far? Everything good?
We're good.
Okay.
I have a few questions, but I was going to ask at the end of it.
Go ahead and ask.
What I want to know is, I may be at the wrong part of Dispatcher 101. I want to know, how do I start from the beginning, starting up? You know, like what type of equipment I need and all that.
Okay. Oh, that's not a problem. Laptop or desktop. I don't know if are you writing anything right now?
I am.
Okay. Well, the equipment, the computer, laptop or desktop. I would prefer a laptop because what if you want to go mobile? Like you want to sit in a Starbucks and book a load, or if you want to do this. So, of course, your cell phone, internet access. That's the hardware side. The software side will be some type of load board, so you can go on the load boards and look for loads, and some type of QuickBooks or some type of spreadsheet software to keep track of your okay. That's pretty much the cost, the startup. You know, of course you need your computer, you need your phone to call. If you probably want a printer, maybe an all-in-one printer with a scanner, fax, copy, print feature. And that's good starting out. And then as you build on your business, you'll discover that some other things will be necessary. Of course, you want to need your business name, you know, whatever your business name, a business license, and your EIN. You know, you go to the irs.gov website, apply. But you need a business name when you apply for your EIN number. It's going to, when you fill that out, it's going to ask for the name of the business. So, of course, I would get the business name and then go for the EIN.
Okay.
So that's the very beginning. But you can do that simultaneously as you're working the actual understanding of what it is to be a dispatcher as well. So,
okay.
What other questions?
Where can we access the forms? Most of the forms that we need.
For what? For what I was going over earlier?
Yes.
Well, those forms are only available for members who are enrolled in this dispatcher training.
Okay, and how do we get enrolled?
If you want to enroll, you can go to the website, and then I'll just send them. I'll put the link right here. There's a single member enrollment or a 2-for-1, and
okay.
I'll copy and paste the link, and so there's the link I just put into the chat.
Okay.
There, so you can. So I don't know if one of you are joining or both of you consider joining at the same time. But when you enroll, you'll get access to the back office. You'll get 3 ebooks. You'll get the glossary, and then all the forms and documents, the live trainings, access to the load boards. So much, you know, to help you from a basics perspective to get you started and establish the foundation. And then you can join. Yeah, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, join the Facebook group, which will in turn add you to that group where all of our networking goes on with other brokers and shippers and other dispatchers. We help each other find loads. It's more of a family than, you know, I like to use the word family as opposed to network. So that's what we are becoming. So
okay,
all the extra bells and whistles. So it's well worth it. You get more value than what the price dictates. So, any other questions? I know Ms. Hicks had a question, but I just wanted to see what other questions Mia and Jessica.
I think we're caught up now.
Okay. Ms. Hicks, can you unmute yourself? And your volume was kind of low. Ms.
Yes,
Hicks.
you answered my question.
Oh, what question was that?
With the all the information you need to have to start the dispatcher.
Oh, okay. How did you because you're a guest, right? This is the first time I've seen your You're on.
Yeah, I'm a guest.
Okay. Did someone invite you, or you just saw it on YouTube or something, or?
Saw it on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good. Good. Did everyone subscribe to the YouTube channel? I need to build my algorithm up. That's why I'm asking. So that would be helpful. And then Miss Allison, I need to, because Miss Allison had a carrier, but the carrier, I don't know if the carrier sent the dispatch agreement to you, but they wanted to load, but she had texted me, and I told her, I said, well, you can look for the load, but don't give it to them until they send you the dispatch agreement. Can you speak, Miss Allison? I see you typed in no. Oh, no dispatch agreement. So he didn't send it yet. So then he's either gonna be sitting still, not get a load, or find it from someone else. But he's not getting it from you. There you are.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes. Hello. How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, can you hear? Oh.
Yes.
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Okay.
It's like my name signs I'm a low, but no one sends back the dispatch agreement. So
Now, just out of curiosity, he wanted a load. Where was he looking? What equipment type? I'm gonna bring up truck stop just to give an example of what you could have showed him.
Okay.
Where was he at? What equipment type did he have, and what was he looking for? Where was he trying to go? Right.
Oh, he had a reefer, and he was in Richmond, Virginia, and he wanted to go to either New Jersey or Pennsylvania.
Okay, so he was close to me because I'm south of Richmond. I'm about 2 hours or an hour south of Richmond.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in the what's called the Hampton Roads area, Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Portsmouth, down all the military bases down here. So he was in Richmond, Virginia. So let's look on here. This is one of the load boards for those who are considering joining that we have access to. This is called Internet Truck Stop. So he was in Richmond, Virginia. His equipment type was you said a reefer.
Yes.
Okay. Matter of fact, let me do this. I'm gonna go over here to I'm gonna delete this out, and instead of using the quick load search feature, I'm gonna go to the new search feature because there's some things I want to use in here. So this opens up. So he was in Richmond, Virginia. Did he tell you his deadhead? How far he was willing to travel to get to a load, or no?
No.
Okay, so he was in Richmond. He wanted to go to. So I'm going to hit multi-states, because he said he wanted to go to either Jersey or Pennsylvania, right?
Or Pennsylvania, correct.
Nowhere else. I'm gonna put area 1 because that covers Delaware, New York, and all those 4 states.
Right. Okay. I mean, Maryland is close to there too, so I don't know.
Yeah, and DC, and Virginia. Might as well stay in Virginia. So let's do that because the money's paying right, and I'm gonna leave the date blank. I want to see the pickup dates and any options and see what comes up. So we got 42 loads that came up. So they're all scattered about, right? I'm going to change instead of looking at 10 of them at a time, I'm going to look at, since it's 42, I'm going to say 50. So it'll show all of them. And then I'm going to click the rate link to put it in order of highest paying to lowest paying. Okay?
Right. So like it was one day for the next day. So I guess if today's 8th, it would have been for the next day, which would be the 9th.
Right. Now, I see one here. This is even though it's a 12, I just want to get an idea of what they were paying. Here's a 44,000-pound reefer load. It's 227 loaded miles at $800. That's a nice paying load right there. And this is just an example of what you will see when you go on the load boards, right? So 800 to get the cents per mile, you take the rate of the load and you divide it by the loaded miles, right? Now remember, you got deadhead involved in here too, so you might want to add the deadhead into the total miles. So I'm going to add. Let me clear that. Let me add the deadhead because he has to drive 88 miles from Richmond to Lyndhurst, So 88 plus 227, which is where he's going to end up going total. So that's 315. So you take $800 that is paying, and you divide it by 315, because I included the deadhead miles. So that's $2.54 a mile. So did he give you an idea how much cents per mile he was looking for?
No.
Okay. So that's a good one. Even if you excluded the deadhead miles, 800 by 227, now it's 352 a mile. You didn't put the deadhead miles. But if you open this load up, this is what I'm specifically looking at because it's going to Maryland, which is close to Jersey, right? So I want to get details of the load and see how many, since it's a reefer load, you always want to look and see how many stops it is, like how many pickups and how many deliveries, because reefer loads have a tendency to have a number of pickups and a number of deliveries, right?
Okay.
So you always have to keep that in mind. So you go down to special instructions and information and you don't see anything here, but you can call Mike, or you can call the number of the broker, Rocky Mountain Express. The contact is Robert, but you're going to ask for Mike at extension 1209 when you call that number. They're currently offline, so they're not open right now, but that's what you would see. You would ask for that. So, now did you have
basically when you're looking for a load, do you generally pick the one that's the highest paying on the board, or do you not go by the lowest deadhead? I mean, or just a number of different factors?
There's a number of different factors. Of course, you want the highest paying loads that meet the parameters of your carrier's profile. You follow?
Okay.
You see? So you make sure it still matches up with your carrier's profile. So whatever his profile is. So as I'm looking at numbers, right, the weight is 44,458. Maybe my carrier say I don't want to haul no more than 45,000. Or he may say I want to haul I can haul up to the max. And for a reefer it's 45,000. So we answered that question. It's in the area where he wants to pick up and go to, right? So let's say he wanted just specifically Jersey and Pennsylvania. Let's just say that, for example, specifically Jersey and Pennsylvania. So then we're looking for loads that's going to Jersey and Pennsylvania. And right here, the rates are blank. So you would have to call the broker, and the broker is going to sell that load to you. Right? So now, if you see on the load boards, loads that have no number, sometimes you can get a better deal when it's not posted because they don't want you to know what they're paying. Other times they're going to try to trick you and sell you that load at a cheaper rate. So it's a double-edged sword in that situation, but it's still worth it, especially if it's a load that's picking up and going, like this one, for example. Like Chop Tank pays pretty well. The brokerage Chop Tank right here. It's picking up in Colonial Heights, Virginia, which is 20 miles deadhead from Richmond. I know exactly where it's at. And it's going to Pittsburgh, which is in Pennsylvania. It's only hauling 25,000 pounds. It's going 368 miles, right, loaded miles. So I'm not going to even include a 20-mile deadhead. That's nothing, right? So it doesn't list the rate. Say your carrier told you, well, I don't want nothing less than $3 a mile. So if you got a rate, if you got a load that's on the load board that doesn't have a rate, but you know your carrier what he or she wants per mile, just take it and multiply what he wants per mile times the miles, right? 368, and that's what you would ask for from the broker. You would say 368 times $3 a mile, because that's what your carrier wants, for example. So 1,100. So you say 1,200 or 1,100, 1,200, 1,200. So I want this, especially if it has like a number of pickups and deliveries, picks and drops, right? So let's open this one up and see if there's any details about that. Because remember, with reefer loads, refrigerated trailers, there's always the chance that it has more than one pick and more than one drop. So you always want to keep that in mind. So you scroll down. So it has one extra stop. Yep. Robert says you always want to upsell. So if you're a carrier, So right here, see, remember I was saying you always look at the lows? Right here, 2 drops. It has 2 drops in there. So basically that one extra drop means it's 2 drops. Basically you're picking up from one location and then you're stopping one location and then you're going to finally stop in Pittsburgh. So you may stop somewhere in between. So let's Google that. Colonial Heights, Virginia to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And let's say, here it is on the map. So let's say you're picking up in Colonial Heights. You're going to drive 20 miles south. He's in Richmond. He's going to drive 20 miles south deadhead, which is not bad, even though you're going south. You always want to make sure your deadhead is going in the same direction that you're ultimately going to end up delivering. But if it's not too far deadhead to go the opposite direction, then that's not a problem. 20 miles deadhead south is not bad, right? So he picked up in Colonial Heights. He was in Richmond, picked up in Colonial Heights. Let's say he had his first drop, let's say maybe in D.C. somewhere or somewhere in the middle ground. So he dropped there, and he ultimately is going to drop in Pittsburgh. So that's what 2 stops mean. His first stop is somewhere along the way, and his final stop is in Pittsburgh. So that's the 2-stop description right here, okay? So your negotiation, it's only 25,000 pounds, not burning a lot of fuel because the weight is less. So you're not burning a lot of fuel. So the more weight you have on that trailer, the more fuel you're going to have to burn, right? So
yes.
But that's how you do it. If you're on a load board and you see something that's listed, but it doesn't have the dollar amount, so you want to upsell. Here's another one, Colonial going to Denver. That's pretty much the same area, just about the same area. About 100 miles less. Denver, Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh is going in the same direction. Well, maybe a little bit east. Denver is a little bit east. So you would do the same thing. You would say $2.77 if your carrier wanted $3 a mile, no matter how many picks and drops. $2.77.
Mm-hmm.
So at 8.31, so I would say let's say $9.50, $9.25. You always want to upsell and let the broker bring it back down to exactly what you want. As long as he doesn't go below, you can upsell to like $9.50, and then the broker may come down, but make sure he doesn't go below your true asking price, right? That's the art of negotiating, right? So again, whatever your carrier wants, $3 times $2.77 a mile, that's $8.31. So you go to the broker and say it's not listed the rate. You say, okay, I'll do it for $1,000. Especially if it has, let's go on to this one. If it had 2 picks and 2 drops, let's say it had 2 picks and 2 drops. This one may not, but let's say, for example, it did. 3 drops. Look at that. I'm definitely hitting 1,000. Definitely. So it got 2 stops. So 4 total. You're picking up, and then 3 drops. 2 in the middle, and then the final drop. So there you go. So that 831 is definitely going up to, it may even go higher. Because I'll say maybe $100, if not $200 for every drop. So you got 2 drops. So that's $200 to $400 extra. So at least $200 minimum if you're going to charge $100 per drop, because you figure you're going to get to a loading dock at the first drop. You're going to get to the security gate. They're going to tell you, okay, go to door 3. You're going to sit in that loading dock, get offloaded. Maybe this is 42,000 pounds. It's going to take, you take maybe a third of that off. Maybe that's an hour depending on how lazy the forklift operators are at the warehouse. They're going to offload it in an hour, give you the paperwork so you can move on to the next drop. So that's an hour or 2 tops, right? That's $100, $50 an hour. So I'm adding $200 to that 831. So now that 831 went to, I'll say $1,100, and then let the broker bring it back down to 1,000. But you never want to go below your initial ask. when you're negotiating your initial asking price. That's just the art of it. Upsell to bring it down to the true asking price. Okay. Chesapeake, that's close to me. Chesapeake, Virginia, New Jersey.
Right.
328. Chesapeake is literally my backyard. So yeah. There's again. So another one. What would that be? 328 miles. $3 a mile. So yeah. Was that helpful for you, Allison? Was that helpful for you?
Yes, indeed it was.
Okay. So have you heard back from the guy, the carrier, or no?
It is, yes. Thank you.
Okay. Miss Rose, she said she has a question. I don't know if I can hear her now.
No, we spoke twice, but then I sent him because he initially contacted me via text because I spoke to him. I mean, I left him a message. I sent him my email and I sent him a text message.
Okay.
Okay.
So now he's wondering, like, man, maybe he should send that dispatcher agreement and profile. Miss Rose, I see your light got green, but then it got
Can you hear me?
I can hear you a little bit low.
Problem today, Charles. I had to get on another computer.
Right.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you a little bit better.
Can you? Okay, I want to ask about the when you got a broker and a carrier, both of them are doing the same thing as double brokering, right? Can you hear me? I'm trying to get it.
Okay, can you turn your volume up just a little bit?
Let's see, can I get it out? How about this? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Charles, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, I had a question about the brokers that have more than one trucking company that have more than one carriers, but they on the load boat, and they are carriers and / broker, like the one you just showed before you answered the latest question. How do you handle that when they also is on the load board, and then when you call them, you look up the MC number and you see it there. You're not just dealing with a broker, you're dealing with a carrier too at the same time.
Right. If it says save yourself the headache. If you're looking up like on the Safer website and you see carrier broker, I would move on to the next one because you're going to come across trucking companies who also have a broker side, which means that the broker is brokering loads for their trucking side of that company. So you don't want to get intertwined with that. So when you are on the Safer website and you see you do your search based off of the truck search feature on Truckers Path on the MCDOT, and you see the result of that, and it says carrier/broker or carrier/IEP. I would only deal with results on the Safer website that just has an entity type of just only carrier.
Okay. Because today I ran up on one and I called them and I went to check the MC number. I noticed it was a carrier/broker, and they had a load that was over 1,056 miles, and they was paying somewhere around $1,850. And I took that, which was cheap for a flatbed.
Very. So what that tells me, you said 1,850 and 1,056. Let's go over that one. 1,850 for a flatbed is going 1,056 56 miles, and they were a broker which had a trucking side. $1.75. They probably had company drivers on their trucking side hauling that flatbed load, paying them probably $1 a mile, and their brokerage is pocketing the 75 cents a mile. So that's how they may be operating. But yeah, I would definitely just deal with the carriers whose entity type only is, let me go to it, whose only entity type is, let's just put one in, just says carrier. So if the entity type just says carrier, as opposed to carrier/broker, carrier/IEP, if it just says carrier, then I would just deal with that. And then after you get past the entity type category, then you move down to the next one. So this company has 30 trucks, 30 drivers. They went over 2.5 million miles in 2018. So they're a big trucking company. They're a large trucking company. There's actually a farming company, so it's a pretty large one. Now, this is something that I may try to target, because larger trucking companies I can pretty much put in front of a large shipper and then just add to the portfolio. But you guys focus on the smaller companies starting out. So, and then as you progress being dispatchers, then you think of other strategies. But first, you got to get that foundational concept set first of how it's done mechanically. You know, get the carrier, get the load, book the load, invoice the carrier. Once you get all that, then you're going to get into the concept of formulating the relationships with the brokers, setting up the dedicated lanes. Brandy mentioned this earlier. You establish dedicated lanes by building relationships with the brokers with whom your carriers have successfully ran loads for. That's one way to establish dedicated lanes, because the reason I say that is because brokers, if they see that your carriers run those loads pretty good, they're going to keep calling you and say, hey, man, do you have a carrier? Or is that same carrier? I got another load. Or if you book the load with a broker for the first time, then what you may want to do is ask that broker, say, hey, how often do you guys move loads in this lane? How often do you guys run those lanes? And they'll say twice a week, every day. You know, now you say, okay, well, I can have carriers in these lanes every time you run the lanes, especially since the broker saw that your first carrier that you sent to them ran that load successfully. So now you're building a relationship with that broker, and they're going to always look to you. They may even send you their email list of the lanes, you know, because you sell for himself as well as your dispatching company, and you establish that relationship with that broker. And then you just rinse and repeat with another broker. Or you get another carrier of the same equipment type and put them in front of that same broker to build up a relationship. That's probably the best way to do it starting out. If you got one particular broker that they're running lanes with, or running loads with successfully, then you find another carrier of the same equipment type that you ran the initial carrier equipment type with that same broker, and you put that next carrier in those lanes of that good paying broker, and now you are establishing a relationship. Robert says scroll down to operations. There we go. Yep. This is what Robert wanted to look at on the Safer website. Operation classification: authorized for hire, property, private, past business, non-business, migrant, U.S. federal, local, state, Indian nation. Any other questions? Who had a question? I think someone asked. Oh yeah, Miss Rose, you said you had a question. You just asked your question.
So Charles, I'm asking this right here. Make sure I understand what you're saying. Which I understand about the carrier side. But when you have that entity over there got broker too, and they dealing as a broker, but not saying they're a carrier, and they trying to offer you that, then you asking them to give you that load for the carrier. That's the point where I want to know. How do you deal with it then? Because they're going to tell you they're a carrier / broker, but they saying they present themselves as a broker.
Right.
When I look it up, or someone look it up, you see broker / carrier. And
that's double brokering, co-brokering. My advice is to walk away.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I was looking for. Okay, thank you.
Yep. My advice is to walk away. You now, I'm saying to walk away to protect yourself, but what I'm also saying too, there are a lot of companies out here that double broker and co-broker. I'm not condoning it. I'm just letting you know that it's frowned upon. So if something does come up and it's discovered, it's going to be a challenge for you to disprove, right? So again, the best thing to do is to walk away and just focus on those carriers whose entity type is just says carrier. There are trucking companies or owner operators. That's why we focus, starting out as beginner dispatchers, we focus on owner operators who have their own truck and trailer and their own MC and DOT numbers, and they're small companies, maybe 1, 2, 3 trucks at the most. Start off with them and then build up your carrier base that way. You know.
Thank you, Charles.
You're welcome. All right, we got more people coming in. Kendra Ely, that name seems familiar, and then area code 901. That may be someone as a guest.
Yeah, I'm new to the group. I'm not a guest, so.
You are a guest.
No, not a guest. I joined it. I talked to you maybe two weeks ago.
You joined the Facebook group, or you enrolled into the platform?
I enrolled into the Dispatcher 101.
And I'm sorry, what's your name?
Kendra Ely.
Oh, so okay, your name and your phone number is up here at the same time. Okay. Okay. Robert asks, I do not, I wish I would have thought about it earlier, Robert. I do not have time to contact the shipper right now. It's getting close to me coming down or to getting off. So, any other questions from anyone? Oh, Kendra, did you join the Facebook group so I can put you in the chat group as well, so you can be a part of the internal private network, so you can get questions?
Yeah, I joined the Facebook group as well.
But are you in the chat as well or no?
I don't think I am.
All right, let me let's clear that up right now.
Okay.
Because if you're in the chat, that means that you could ask questions, outside of live training, and anyone in the chat who has the answer can pretty much help you there. So what I do is, because people join the Facebook group but haven't enrolled into the training, so they're not added to the chat part of it, but the ones who enroll in the training join the Facebook as well as get added to the chat group as well. Do you have any questions right now?
No, I'm just absorbing it in. That's all.
Have you gotten a carrier, or are you still working on that aspect?
I'm still working on it. I'm going through the first module, so I'm getting ready to take the quiz sometime this week, and then try to get on here and learn how to get the carrier, and go from there so I can go on to module 2.
Okay. All right, you got it. Well, welcome. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you there.
It's okay.
I'll have to add you to the I'll make a note of that. Add you to the chat group once Facebook's algorithm starts to act correctly.
Okay.
But you're studying module 1 right now, understanding the equipment types and different things like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I do have one question, Charles. I started my own trucking company. So do I need to start another company like a dispatch, or can I just dispatch under my trucking company? I don't have any trucks. I just started, and then I was like, well, maybe I need to learn it. So, I'm just trying to learn the gist of dispatch. So do I need to dispatch under my trucking company, or just like get another one and start another business for dispatching service?
You can. Well, if you plan to dispatch for trucks outside of your trucking company, then I would say yes, get your dispatching business started. But if you just plan to dispatch only for your trucks, then you could just internally dispatch. You don't have to under the company. You don't have to have a separate dispatching company under your trucking company, right? That wouldn't make sense, right? So
right.
You just have. But if you plan on like. Say you got a trucking company, so you got an active MC authority.
Yeah, I'm getting my MC as of this week. Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm assuming that you're planning on getting your own trucks, leasing. Not leasing, but you're gonna have your own assets, your own truck and trailers, and then you may even consider leasing out your MC authority to owner operators who don't have their MC authority, leasing your authority out to them.
Yeah, correct. But I still want to do, more than just the trucks that I get. I want to do more. So that's why I was asking, would I be able to, or do I need to start a dispatching service business as well?
Well, the only way that you, not the only way, but a way that you can still dispatch under your trucking company other trucks that you don't own if you lease those trucks under your authority. Like if you have owner operators who are leased under your authority, then you can dispatch under your authority, under your trucking company. You can still, without having to create a separate dispatching business. You are still the dispatcher for the trucking company, whether those trucks are asset based, yours, or whether they are leased on owner operators. You still are the dispatcher for that company.
Okay.
Now, if you have other trucks that you want to dispatch for that are not leased under your trucking company or that are not assets under your trucking company, then you may have to form a dispatching business to dispatch for them. But you'll be so busy, you shouldn't even have to do that if you're going to get to the point where you're going to be so busy. You're going to have your own trucks, your own assets under your trucking company, as well as leasing owner operators under your authority. Let's say you have 5 owner operators who are leasing under your authority, and you have 3 of your own trucks under your company. That's 8 trucks. That should keep you busy right there.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have a need. You wouldn't even have a need to form a dispatching business. You could just dispatch under your company.
Okay.
Which brings me to another. That's a good point. That's a good way to get around this notion of dispatchers being glorified brokers, and it's illegal to be dispatchers and going after different dispatchers for different trucks. Maybe if we all get our own authority, right? Get our own authority, get our own trucks, or lease our authority to other owner operators, and we just dispatch for those owner operators, then we can do that for as many of them as we get under our authority. There's no limit in that point, as opposed to saying I'm a dispatcher, independent dispatcher. No, I got my own trucking company, and I'm dispatching for trucks who are leased under my authority. So there's the workaround for it right there.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? That's a good point. That's a great point, actually. To get around that whole notion of it's illegal to, and I disagree with it, but it's illegal to. There's a gray area in the law, I guess you would say. I forget the code of the law that was in the transportation. As a matter of fact, it's on the website. Tools and resources. Here it is, CFR. I knew it was on the website, so that's why it's good to have resources on the website, right? So under the transportation CFR, which is the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 49, which deals with the transportation. Title 49, there's certain sections there where it defines what a broker and a dispatcher is, and there's a gray area. Who was I just talking to? Kendra, right? Kendra.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Mike just asked, because you're getting your trucking company started. So do you have to have insurance to get your MC number?
Yes, you have to have the insurance. Well,
okay, so
you
what's
have like 1 day after that to get your insurance.
Okay, so all right, so let's do a quick review. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna put it on the website. So you're going through this process. So what was step one? You applied for your MC authority with FMCSA?
I just did the basics like the business license, the EIN, and then I went to get my MC. And it's a long process because you have to go through so much online on what you're shipping, you know, if you're just shipping general freight or, you know, so many questions. So it takes you about 3-4 hours to get through it. And then
so you did the FMCSA, the $300 one-time payment application online.
Yeah.
Okay. So step one was the business license and EIN. Step two was the application for the MC authority, and you applied for the common carrier general freight, right?
Right.
Okay. So now what was step three?
Step three will be you getting your insurance, because once they do all the paperwork from getting your MC and stuff online, you will have to wait till they come back and, you know, ship you all of your, email you all of your DOT number, MC number, and all of that, and then you just have a certain amount of days to get the insurance. But you will need a truck in order to get that insurance. So what I did was I had like a little carrier van, and I just added that van on there under the insurance, and that'll take care of it because it was under my business license. So you have to have.
Okay, so it doesn't matter what type of truck you get, as long as you get the insurance, then you're good to go.
You're good to go. Yeah.
Now, what type of insurance was it? Liability, cargo?
Yeah, you have to get the cargo, you know, and the liability. It's like a $1 million insurance.
Right. $1 million liability and 100,000 cargo, I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all. Now, Mike asked, is there a $3,600 down payment premium or what? What's the down payment for insurance?
It really depends on who you go through, because I think mine was like, because I knew a friend of a friend, so I paid like $2,200. It really depends on who you go through for your insurance. Some people will try to give you that high premium down payment, but I think I paid, it was like $2,200, right at $2,300, like $2,280, something like that.
Who you got, like Progressive or something?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's step 3. So now what's step 4?
Step 4 is just after you get all that, then you got to find the load. So I just been trying to learn the dispatching part.
Okay. Okay, so it only takes 3 steps in. So after you get your insurance, then you wait for your MC to become active. What about your UCR?
The what now?
UCR.
No, I didn't. Nobody said nothing to me because I was really just doing it on my own. So right now I'm just
okay.
Book loads and get the truck to move, and that's it.
Okay, the UCR is the Uniform Carrier Registration.
Okay.
So I don't know. Let's look it up. So that may have been inclusive in your MC filing when you filed it on the FMCSA website. So
Okay.
the UCR may have been included. So let's go to fmcsa.gov. I think that may have been included. fmcsa.dot.gov, where you apply for registration, get authority to operate, and what's required. So this is probably what you went to the website, and then the different steps. And you have types of authority, ready to apply, filing fees, applying for authority. So this is probably the main website you were at. Here it is right here. So you have the links, uniform registration, and then you went through all that. So yeah, you probably was in. Okay, so you're good. Okay, so now Brandy said, so leasing on drivers to your authority can be an additional income stream. Of course, yes. So if you got owner-operators who don't have their authority, but they have truck and trailers, they can lease onto your authority, and then let's say you charge 25%. Now, if you want to go that route, you might want to vet those carriers out, because when you lease on, right, good point, Mike. Mike says a good point, because I was just going to say that. When you lease them on, you are taking a gamble. That's why you vet them out. Make sure that their CSA scores are good. Not a lot of accidents. You gotta qualify or disqualify, because you're taking a chance against your MC number when you're bringing on owner-operators under your MC authority, because you can take the chance of getting your authority becoming inactive because of something that carrier may do in the future. So it's a good thing to do, but that's the risk that you take. So when you do get your MC authority as a trucking company, of course, I would try to lease my own tractor and trailer and get company drivers to run the loads in my trailers, my tractor and trailers, and just pay the company drivers a certain amount, and then I pocket the rest. So say I get $3 a mile loads, I may pay the company drivers $1.50 a mile, and I might keep $1.50 a mile. Because it's my tractor and trailer, it's my authority. They're getting paid a decent amount to keep running, so everybody's eating, So, but those are the steps. Kendra just broke it down, so she has her. So yeah, you can have a trucking company without trucks. You can just lease your authority. As you lease your authority to own and operate, then you build up revenue. Then you start to buy your own trucks, or what's called assets.
Yeah.
Brandy said, now, are you looking for any places to get a good tractor and trailer, Kendra? Are you looking for that, or are you?
Yeah, I've been looking. I'm just trying to see who got the best deal, who got the, what's the requirements to getting it. If they're looking for a certain amount of income, because I still work, but it just depends on, what the deal is on the tractor and the trailer.
Yeah, and then it's based off of your credit, because I don't know if you're gonna purchase it right out, or it's a lease option, or you're gonna lease it, or.
Yeah, I'm really wanting to do both, whichever one is the better deal, to lease it or to purchase.
Yeah, you're gonna go through a bank or credit union to get some good rates. I got Navy Federal, so you get better rates. You go to the credit unions than the banks. Banks are crazy. You go to the credit unions, you get a lower rate based off your credit, and you can come there with a check to the tractor and trailer dealers and just drive off the lot with that thing. So yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. So those, and then that's a workaround for the stigma of dispatchers being illegal. You can just, let's start a trucking company. Start a trucking company, lease your authority to owner-operators, and then dispatch those owner-operators under your trucking company. That way, You don't have to worry about any FMCSA regulations or any CFR, DOT violations or anything like that. So we got someone right here who's done that. Kendra, she just started a trucking company, so she can dispatch as many trucks as she wants, as long as they're under either they're her trucks or they're leased under her authority. That's the whole point. Under her authority, she has the authority to run those trucks because they're under her MC number, DT number. So now, are you I'm assuming you are intrastate. You're not interstate. I mean, intrastate. You're interstate, right?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. All right. Well, that's cool right there. So you can dispatch a little bit, like get some dispatch agreements and start making income there to the point where you can afford to do what Kendra has done, start her trucking company by applying. So Kendra just provided an alternative blueprint for dispatching via having your own trucking company. Robert said you can do better than Progressive. What do you suggest, Robert, as far as insurance, I guess, right? Any suggestions, Robert?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple of them, but I have to go through my my files. I don't have my system with me, but I'd have to go through my files. I can possibly get back with her later.
Okay. Or you can do that, or you can put them in the chat.
Chat, exactly.
In the Facebook chat.
Right, exactly. Yep.
And then reference Kendra's name because I'm going to add her to the chat.
All right, you got it. Okay.
Thanks, Robert. See, that's the whole point of networking. Allison just asked, is $2,200 monthly or quarterly? So that $2,200 you paid, that premium, what is that for, Kendra? That was a one-time thing, or was that quarterly?
Yeah, that was like the down payment. You know, when you first pay, if you get any car insurance or anything. But the monthly is not $2,200. My monthly is right now, because I just have that van on there. It's like maybe like $6 because it's just that van. So I'm sure it'll go up when I start adding trucks. But the way you said it, Charles, if I started leasing out, other people, then they have to cover their own insurance. So maybe I can just keep that van that I have and get a couple box trucks, and it probably go up a little bit more. But no, it's not $2,200 monthly.
Right, and that would be if you lease on other trucks, included in the vetting process of those carriers, so they won't endanger your MC number, is the fact that you probably need to put in a clause in the contract that they need to cover their own insurance. That way, that takes that extra added cost off of you.
Right. Okay.
And it shows that they themselves have a little skin in the game. They're just not coming in just giving you. They're paying their weekly settlements 25% gross of the loads that they bring in, right? So say you got carriers who's running under your authority and they're bringing in $10,000 a week. They're giving you 25% of that. So that's $2,500 a week to you. And all they're doing is running under your authority. And they're paying their portion of the insurance. So imagine you got 10 trucks under your authority doing that. So now that's $25,000 a week. Each truck bringing in $10,000 a week. Each truck covering their insurance. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I see where you're going with it.
So,
okay.
Numbers, right? Numbers don't lie, right? I mean,
it's true.
But you have to build that house first. It starts with one at a time. You're on the right path. You got your trucking company started, and you're doing it the right way. So there you go. All right, guys. Any more questions? I'm gonna go ahead and get them off. I enjoyed this one. Oh yeah, Robert said, and a minority owner. So yeah, there's benefits of being minority owners, and you're what is that? SWAM certified, single woman and minority. You might want to look that up.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I can show you, but I can tell you, right? Because there's benefits if you apply for a SWAM certification. You got the vendors for, and of course in your state. This is Virginia, so you look up SWAM in your small women-owned and minority-owned business. So you are that. You are small, you're women-owned, and you're minority-owned. So you apply for the SWAM certification in your. What state are you in, Kendra?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. There we go. Bam. See how easy that was? So.
What part of Tennessee?
So you just. What part of Tennessee?
Memphis.
What'd you say?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis?
Yeah.
Okay. Woo, police crazy over there. Oh my God. Woo. I'll just leave it at that. I won't tell you my experience. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, apply for the SWAM certification in your state, and once that certification gets added to your company, the licensing to your company, that label, then that comes with benefits. So when you apply for different things as it relates to your business, and maybe even tax breaks. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, I will.
All right. All right, guys. Any other questions? All right. Well, let's see. Today's Wednesday. I will see you guys on Sunday, and I look forward to those who were guests considering joining, like I believe Cynthia and the two ladies, Jessica and Mia. And again, we are a family. We are a network, and we try to help one another. Some of us have a lot to offer, actually, a lot of resources here, and because we're all going in the same, we all have the same destination. We're just taking different paths. So we all have the same destination, and then we can pretty much help one another get there. So Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is the next training. If anything changes prior to that, I will let you know. Of course, I'm still dealing with my mom in the nursing home. They are quarantined because of the COVID-19 situation, so I have to monitor that a little bit more stringently. So, but if I don't say otherwise, training will be Sunday at 11 a.m. All right? So until then, I salute you guys, and thank you for your attendance and input. And until next time, I will definitely see you on Sunday.